Can you dig it, you sucker?
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T. Two-time Hall of Famer, man. Yeah, that's right. Two-time Hall of Famer. Six-time world heavyweight champion. I just want to reiterate that one more time. Two-time Hall of Famer. Six-time world heavyweight champion. 14-time tag team champion with 4 different partners. Okay. Television champion, United States champion, Intercontinental champion, hardcore champion. I've done it all. I got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the Boat. All right. How you doing, Brad, first and foremost?
I'm good, Book. I'm good. I appreciate you, reminding people what time it is. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to do that. I remember, you remember Express Yourself off of the NWA album?
Yeah.
That's what they said. Ice Cube was like, Dre, you got to come up from behind the piano and let everybody know what time it is.
Yeah.
Because you gotta let them know what time it is.
Hey man, I just want to put that out there, man. Again, guys, welcome inside the Hall of Fame. You got your questions. Definitely make sure you holler at us, man. Holler at us because we want to know what you guys got to say. We're going to be talking about some UFC fight night that's going to be coming up this weekend. Huge card going down ESPN Plus. If you ain't got ESPN Plus, man, you better get it. I didn't have it for a long time. I was definitely on the fence. Let's just say on the fence as far as getting the ESPN Plus package. And then this pandemic hit, and I said, I got to watch something. Because, ain't nothing on the Zone right now. The Zone is dead. You know? I got to make sure if they still getting my money. I think that subscription might have rolled over right now. I need to, cut that subscription off. But right now, ESPN Plus is definitely the ticket, as well as ESPN, regular ESPN, because they've been showing boxing, up-and-coming fighters on every Tuesday night and I think Thursday night.
I think it's the Top Rank show, right?
Like Top Rank is like Tuesday night fights. Well, I mean, back in the day, probably, when you was a little bitty boy, it's this show used to come on all the time. It's called Tuesday Night Fights. And so many guys, the Roy Joneses of the world, that came up through that system. You saw them, on Tuesday Night Fights. And right now we're getting a chance to see a lot of up and coming fighters on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights on ESPN. That's just regular ESPN. So guys, tune in and check it out. Boxing is back. And I love it. I love it because boxing had kind of went to sleep for a minute. I wouldn't say they went to sleep, but they definitely was say for instance, taking a nap.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But then, no, I'm serious. And now, with Tyson Fury, and that Deontay Wilder, huge heavyweight mecca extravaganza, we got a chance to be there to see it. And I tell you, man, it was so one-sided. But to see a man get beat like that, you can't wait back to see it. Get back there to see it again. And the guy that's taking it, he just saying, please, just don't beat me anymore. It was one of those type of deals, man. Yeah. I cannot wait to get back to see some heavyweight fight, middleweight, welterweight. It don't matter. Just a fight game. We got to get the city open, man. We got to get the country back reopened. And that's another thing, man. Right now, this COVID thing, guys, it ain't slowing down. It ain't slowing down. The reason why we are not out there doing what we want to do, I know a lot of you young people, y'all want to get out there in the bars, you know what I mean? Holler at the young ladies and all that. And trust me, man, I understand. Myself, I just can't wait to get back, just say, for instance, take the RV and go to the beach and hang out. That right there is a luxury for me. And for us to get this thing back on track, we got to roll the same way at the same time to get to our destination, and that is free of this pandemic, guys. So please, guys, if you're a fan of the show, man, please just heed the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Be safe. Many people close to me have already tested positive for this thing, so y'all got to be super careful when you're out there and just stay home. Stay home a little bit longer, just a little bit. What did Rick used to say? Stay all night and stay a little longer.
Longer, yeah.
So just stay at home all night and stay a little longer, and hopefully we can be cleared of all this craziness.
Yeah, speaking of Ric Flair, man, we're gonna have Ric Flair on the show next week. I'm gonna have a new start time next week on ESPN 97.5, guys, 7 to 9. So, guys, make sure you tune in. Special guest that night will be the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And I'm gonna tell you, he will be styling and profiling, wilding and dialing in the sun, because that's the way he does it. That's the Nature Boy. So I can't wait to sit down and hang out with the Nature Boy, man.
Looking like only he can look, right?
Yeah.
Limousine riding and jet flying to this day.
Yeah.
As Deontay might say, still to this day. I'm excited to talk to the Nature Boy next week. And you were talking about the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight. Now, there's still rumors out there they're going to fight this year for the third time. I don't think so. I think it's probably more likely that we'll see them in 2021 sometime, because you just don't want to turn down that gate. You can't do that in front of nobody. You're going to have to get that gate, you know. But I saw the FS1 showed that fight again, the second one, a couple nights ago. And I know I talked to you a little bit about it, but when I watched it, we were there in person, and you can see so much more detail when you watch that television broadcast, because they get right in on the guys. And Tyson Fury, man, was all over Deontay. And I just think that Deontay wasn't ready for that aggression, because he was always respected for that hand, that knockout power. And Tyson Fury said, the hell with all of that. I'm coming forward. And that just spooked him, man. You could tell every round he did not know what to do.
You know, what else I think spooked him was Tyson Fury looked like he was about 300 pounds. He looked like he looked like Big Show.
Yeah.
I swear, man, that's how big he looked over Deontay Wilder. And I tell you, man, every time he laid in a shot and leaned on Deontay Wilder, you could almost, see the energy being zapped out of him. I was listening to, I think, who was it, Teddy Atlas, talk about this controversy. I wouldn't call it a controversy, but this conspiracy theory as far as the gloves. Yeah. Tyson Fury's gloves. And he was talking about, man, it's almost impossible to get away with something like that these days. As far as, actually removing, some of the padding from the glove, because you got to go through, one, area to the next area to the next area. And those areas are pretty much highly secured as far as bringing who got the gloves, who's holding on to the gloves. When you put the gloves on, when you wrap your hands and all that, you got somebody from the other side watching you. So I don't know. I'm almost inclined to believe that it's not a conspiracy theory or anything like that. Mike Tyson was talking about it as well, and Mike Tyson said, "No, I don't see that happening. Whatever they saw and whatever the photo looked like, it didn't happen. I don't know, but I'm inclined to believe the professionals before I believe just a regular layperson."
Yeah, I know. I mean, we talked about this a few months ago. I would be shocked if there was any truth to the conspiracy. I think that's why it's a conspiracy. But as far as the thing with Deontay, it was just, like I said, the guy with the better game plan came in and won. I said it'd be interesting to see this third fight, because I don't think that Deontay is all the way out of it. I think that if he can learn some strategy and implement a game plan that would work against Tyson Fury, he could do it. I don't think that he has great odds right now, because if you ask most people, even though it was a draw in the first fight, most people said Tyson won, right? And then the second fight, Tyson definitely won. So we'll see.
Hey, man, Mike Tyson, I like the way he phrased that. He said, I don't think Deontay Wilder, can win, the next fight. I think it's going to go the same way. And then the guy goes, so you're saying he doesn't have a chance? He goes, no, I didn't say that. Any man has a chance. And I go, I agree totally. You got to be able to, switch gears, and Mike Tyson switch gears perfectly right there. But I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to seeing it all over again. I tell you, man, we got all kind of questions coming through the board here, and I'm just checking them out. People talking wrestling, people talking boxing, people talking Naomi. My thing is, I got to address this thing, and no better place to address it here on the show. And it's not something I like talking about, but people on the internet, man, the people on the internet these days, Naomi forgot, for you people out there don't know, Naomi is a WWE superstar, female superstar on the roster. And, I said something and I don't know, maybe it got taken out of context. Maybe people, looked at it the wrong way. But I'm not gonna sit and just be quiet and be silent on things like this, because we got the Nature Boy coming up next week, and me and Ric Flair talked about a lot of the things that's going on in professional wrestling today, and a lot of things that went on in professional wrestling of yesteryear, and is it relevant still today, and why is it still relevant today, and then again, why isn't certain things being used in professional wrestling? I don't know, but we're gonna find out, guys. We got a whole lot to talk. We gotta wrap this thing up, guys. Stick around. More Hall of Fame back in a minute.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world heavyweight champion, 2-time Hall of Fame. I wore the shirt, guys. I wore the shirt for special reasons. This is the shirt where they, Hall of Fame inductee, Booker T, as well as I'm getting ready to get in the gym soon as I finish. So I just want all you suckers out there to know I'm still on top of my game, man. I'm still working hard. I just want to reiterate as far as what I had to say regarding to the Naomi deserves better movement, and I said, to hell with all of these hashtags. That's what I said. I said that's I don't know, maybe because I am old school and I can't see myself. Back in the day, we did have the dirt sheets, and you could have easily gotten the dirt sheets by saying something. I just couldn't see myself using social media or that platform to, try to move up in the business, and especially if you're talented. That's one thing, my father always said. He said, cream always rise to the top. You ain't got to worry about that. When you're something special, when you're different than everybody else, it's obvious. It's like the wind. You can feel it, but you can't touch it, but it's there. You say, oh my God, this is something different. That's what I'm talking about here. I said Naomi is probably the most athletic female in the locker room and perhaps anywhere in the world as far as the wrestling business go. But as far as making it to the next level, it is channels you got to go through. It is a learning curve and a really in-depth studying you have to go through to actually get to that point. Trust me, it doesn't happen by accident just because you can go out and do a backflip or a big move. It's not about the moves, guys. It's really not. I always think about, what was told to me by guys like Ricky the Dragon Steamboats, and that stuff. It resonated. And if you think right now, anybody out in the world, they're trying to get into this business, if you think someone like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat cannot help you learn this business better, even still today, okay, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. But me, I always say that the great coaches, the guys like Pat Riley, that's got several championships under his belt. Coach Pop, that's got several championships under his belt. Those guys, you may have never heard about their careers and how great they were on the field or on the court. reason being, they may not have been the guy on the court, but they was around the guys that was on the court. They knew exactly what it took to get to that next level because they got the championship ring. Even though they didn't play but a few plays in the season, they knew exactly what that team went through to get there. And my thing is this: I'm gonna end it on this. If you think I can't help you at all, and that's all I'm trying to do is help you get to the next level, and you think the guys on the internet, on social media can help you more than I do, go that route. I'm gonna leave it at that.
There you go. That's from the Hall of Famer himself. Yeah, man. It was weird to me to see some of the reaction, because I don't think that anything that was said with ill intent. I think everything that was said to offer an.
Man, you know what it is? The truth hurts. And the only thing I said, more important than anything, was the hashtag, the social media platform, like, let's rally behind this cause.
Yeah.
That's just not you know what, man? The reason I say that is because I think she's better than that. That's why. And if you don't see that I can't do anything about that. But I just don't think that's the route one would want to take and get to that level and then look back and say, man, the movement was great, opposed to, damn it, I broke all barriers, and I did everything I possibly could to do it. And if I didn't do it, hey, so be it. But I'm not finna get on social media and let social media be what drives me to be the best one in that locker room, male or female. And people don't talk about Randy Orton being, one of the greatest of all times, and not just myself talk about Randy. Several people talk about how good Randy really is. It's not about his wrestling or anything like that. I mean, it's not about the moves. It is about the wrestling, but it's not about the moves. Or it's not about, anything other than the aura of what he brings to every wrestling match that he performs in. That's all, win or lose. And if one doesn't understand, what that means, it's nothing I could do about that. It really isn't anything I could do about that. But every young person that has come my way, if they can't say Booker T tried to help them, they're lying. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't know one, and I'm gonna tell you what. There's a whole lot of them out there that can vouch for me. And you know what? My opinion do count. Because y'all listening to it right now, you know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line to that right there. Because I you know what, I just real talk, from as far as I go, it's real talk. It's not anything sugar coated. It's not anything, overlaid or anything like that. I'm gonna bring it to you straight. I'm gonna tell you straight up, just like it is, and hopefully you'll get something out of it and be able to take it to the next level. So hopefully this conversation right here, somebody can listen to it and go, man, let me figure out what I need to do first and foremost, opposed to following these suckers on the internet. Yeah. No. Again, to me, here's the thing. I remember having a professor in college to where I went into his classroom. It was a public speaking class. I'm like, it's gonna be easy. I've been doing this forever. So I went in there. We had a speech assigned. I didn't really think about it too much. I was like, day of, I'll knock it out. So I go do it day of. First person up. Go do it. Boom. Killed it. No problem. Got the grade back the next week, and I got a failing grade. And I went to him and said, I don't understand. He said, here's what you don't understand. You have a natural ability to communicate with people. Yeah. He goes, but you didn't listen to what I was asking for specifically. He said, there are certain techniques that I was trying to teach you that you didn't implement. Did you give a good speech? Yeah. Could it have been better? Absolutely. And so when I heard that, I was like, wow, okay. Yeah. I am learning from him, right? He knows more than I do, right?
This is why I'm in this class. Maybe I should listen to what he has to say and become better from it. So from that point on, I'm like, okay, let me listen. Let me listen and learn. That's all I can do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, the longer I was in the business, the more I learned. It was always keeping my ears open, but then again, I was always studying myself as well. I was always, you know, the guy in class that, you know, wanted to hit the ropes more than everybody else. You know, when it was time for somebody to get up and try something, you want to try that hip toss? Yep, I'm rolling in the ring before anybody. You know, so and it was like that, I think, throughout my whole career. And that's why, you know, talking to someone like Ric Flair, you know, I want young people out there that's trying to get into this business to understand, you know, what it really takes to make it to the next level. One would think it was an easy road for the nature boy Ric Flair. One would think, you know, man, this guy's been the nature boy forever. You know what I mean? But the thing is, he had to start just like everybody else. He wasn't born the nature boy Ric Flair when he got into the business. And for him to actually find that and then to enhance it and massage it and add more layers and more layers to what the nature boy really was, it was something special. And that's what, but it was real at the same time. You know, as flamboyant as the nature boy was, he was almost like Muhammad Ali. He was the prettiest boxer, but he was the toughest boxer at the same time. That's what I loved about Muhammad Ali. That's what I loved about Ric Flair. He didn't mind, you know, mixing it up with somebody, because you know why? They were always going up against the world champion. And that right there meant, hey, brother, I'm pretty tough. At the same time, that's what made me believe in Ric Flair's character, Ric Flair's gimmick. It was all made up, but it was all real at the same time. And that's what wrestling is. And that's the element of professional wrestling that I think is missing in a lot of ways. But a lot of guys out there still today go out there and still make me go, oh man, that was good. And that's what I want to feel when I come to the arena. Hey guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We will be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, since we're talking about knowledge, since we're talking about schooling somebody, hey, guys, make sure if you want to learn this stuff and you want to get some knowledge, sign up for my online class. It goes down every Thursday night. Go to realityofwrestling.com, get your information. Zoom in with us, y'all, and we'll actually watch a match, critique it, go over it. You got questions, talk to me about it. It's really, really an awesome experience, and I've been having such a great time with so many of my new students from around the world. So, guys, again, if you want to tune in a Thursday night, 7 p.m., just go to the website, realityofwrestling.com, get all your information, and we'll do it. Hey, man, what we got, man? What we got?
You know, we didn't talk about the UFC fights from last Saturday or this upcoming Saturday. What did you think of that Joseph Benavidez flyweight championship fight? Because I thought, just like their first fight, it was very one-sided.
You know, Joseph Benavidez, man, he's put in a lot of time in the game. He's had many title shots. He's the guy that's been around for quite some time, and it's just been that one thing that's been out of reach for Joseph Benavidez. He's always been a great fighter, and you're going to go back and watch Benavidez's career, and you're going to say, man, this guy was good. You know, yeah, man, this guy was real good. Kind of like Uriah Faber, man. You got to go back and look at Faber's career and go, man, this guy was real good. He was innovative. But when it came to the UFC, when it came to, you know, cracking that nut right there, it was just so hard for a guy like Joseph Benavidez, because every time he got ready to go for that championship, he just happened to be going against a guy that was a little bit better than he was. and that's just the case for him. But will he go down? Will Joseph Benavidez go down as a great flyweight, a great UFC ambassador, a great UFC fighter? Yeah, man, he's gonna go down as a great fighter. But this guy, man, was throwing bombs. This guy looked like
he was in the Figueredo.
I'm serious, man. This guy, man. I mean, he was throwing big shots. I mean, I'm talking about. He looked bigger. He looked heavier. His shots seemed like they was thicker, and that fight was over before it started. I'm wondering if Henry Cejudo has made the call to come back and save the day and get a big paycheck at the same time, as well as pad that history, be the triple champ. You know, so I think if Henry Cejudo is smart, he'd be making a phone call right about now to try to get back in the game.
That Davidson Figueredo, though, that's a tough dude. Anybody who comes inside a cage to fight and has blonde hair with a red stripe going down it, you know he's there not to play games. He's there to have a fight, and he controlled it the entire time. And they tried to do it in the promo package beforehand. They tried to make it look like the headbutt was the cause of Joe B losing that fight the last time.
Yeah.
Did it play a factor? Sure, maybe. But I think that as good and as great as Joseph Benavidez can be, I think that he sees his ceiling. He saw his threshold. There's only so high sometimes you can go.
I don't think the first fight in the headbutt had a whole lot to do with Joseph Benavidez losing that fight. I mean, he was going to lose that fight. It was just a matter of, how much time it was going to take to get him out of there. But it definitely was a good way to get out of the fight. It definitely was a way to save face and say, man, if that wouldn't have happened, man, you can tell all your buddies that, when you're in the gym. And then again, set him up for a second fight. So in essence, he might have lost both times, but in the long run, he kind of won because he got 2 paydays out of it. This fight right here, it didn't last very long. He took some punishment, but he didn't take a brutal beating or anything like that.
That choke at the end looked like it sucked.
Well, but going to sleep is not that bad, from what I've heard. But nah, man, I think we've seen. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't say I don't know if we've seen the last of Joseph Benavidez, but I think that's the last title shot we'll ever see Joseph Benavidez get. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. What did you think though of the Hermanson and Gastelum fight? Gastelum lost in a matter of, I think it was under 2 minutes with a heel hook, and he hasn't had the greatest run lately.
He's not his last 3 fights. Yeah.
Yeah. The fight with Izzy and Hermanson now. Yeah.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. In that game, you could be on the highest of highs and you could be on the lowest of lows, and it could all happen overnight. It really can. And, we've seen fighters in that sport literally rise, to stardom. And within 2 years, that star is literally, fizzled out. And that's just the way Showtime Pettis, he's one of them. Showtime Pettis was the guy, and it seemed like it lasted overnight and it was over with. JDS,
Another one.
Seemed like overnight, boom, the rocket got on him, and then boom, it went cold all of a sudden, really, really quick. And then next thing you know, these guys are fighting from the bottom. So I don't know, man. Hermanson, he's a guy that's on the rise. He's a guy that's been winning as well. The Joker ain't no joke. Ever since this guy stepped into the UFC, he's been going out and he's been getting spectacular victories. And for him to go out here and get that heel hook on Gastelum like that, Gastelum he doesn't even look the same anymore. He doesn't look like the same fighter that he did 3 years ago. And that's what, I hate to, keep harping on it, but the fight game, man, every time you go inside that octagon, every time you go inside that ring, it takes a little piece of you every single time, man. And the thing is, it looked like small pieces in the beginning, but seemed like it adds up very, very quickly. And the fighter that was once is never more. So I don't know, man. Gastelum, after losing 3 straight, I could tell you this: if they put him in there one more time and he lose, that's going to be the last fight we ever see in the UFC from this guy. I can't see that, but congratulations to Jagger Manson.
Do you think that we ever see Kevin Gastelum in another title opportunity situation like we were just talking about with Joe B? Do you think that Gastelum, because I mean, this guy who fought Izzy, right? He's a guy who fought Michael Bisping after Bisping lost that middleweight title, but he beat him in China in dominant fashion. Is this somebody who could find his way back up the ladder?
Man, I don't know, man. A lot goes into these guys losing fights. I'm sure you heard Kevin Gastelum talk about his last 2 fights and talking about him going through depression, dealing with things, and then coming back to this fight, thinking and perhaps knowing in his mind and in his heart, this is a fight that I can go out there and win and get back on track, and then lose the way he did. I don't see him actually ever making it back to that point, because there again, it's always guys, especially in this sport, looking to replace you, is looking to take your spot. And there again, unlike professional wrestling, these guys ain't on social media, advocating for the other fighters. They're on social media saying, man, as soon as I finish fighting this guy, I want that guy. And it's as real as it possibly can be. So I don't know, man. I don't think we'll see him at that top level anymore. Will he have a couple more fights? Yeah, I think so. But will he be champion? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's just rough. It's rough for somebody who was right there. You think, man, I just had a title shot. I was just fighting for the world championship.
Yeah.
And now I've found myself to where I lost within a matter of, it felt like seconds, to a heel hook on Fight Island. And it's rough, the way the game goes.
Oh, no, it really is. The thing is, what sucks about it is these guys are human, and when they walk through their cage, it's almost, we look at them like they're superhuman. We don't think about, the behind the scenes, and when that guy go back to that locker room, his ankle is screwed up. His wife is crying, and he know he got to go home and deal with this and get himself ready to do what? Do it all over again. Hopefully in the near future, sometime soon, because those little notes that come in the mailbox, they're called bills. They're not going to stop coming. They're just going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. But guys, we got to take a break. Stick around. We got a whole lot more for you. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. We're just talking a little UFC going down this weekend, actually.
Yep.
Fight night card. Whitaker, Teal. I'm looking forward to that Whitaker Teal fight, as well as that Shogun Hua Nogata fight. Man, I'm gonna tell you, man. Nogueira is 44 years old. 44 years old. Shogun's 38, even though Shogun seemed like he's 40, because he's been around. I'm serious. Seemed like he's been around
since the beginning of time.
He seemed like he's been around forever, man. Those two guys, I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup right there. Even though those guys got a little age on them, I wouldn't want to fight either one of them. I'm serious. Let's just get that straight. Alexander Gustafsson for Fabricio Verdum will be stepping inside the octagon as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing Gustafsson come back, and I'm still trying to make a run at this thing, man. I tell you, his last 2 occasions, man, have been just oh man, epic fails. Let's just call it what they were, epic fails. Can he get back on track? I mean, can he, come back, put himself back in the game and be great again like Alexander Gustafsson once was?
I think that him moving up to heavyweight is interesting. Cutting that weight at times. I mean, think about it. Heavyweight's what? What's the cutoff for it? 235, 245?
Yeah.
235?
230, I think.
Yeah, 230. So thinking about cutting 25 pounds and what that can do to your body weight, what could that can do to your abilities, what that can do to your speed, your hands, your strength. I'm not saying that he was a guy who was in the wrong division for a long time, but the older you get, I'm sure the more toll it takes on your body, the more fights you have, the bigger toll it takes. So for him to go up to heavyweight, I think that's a good move for him. I do. I think that's a real good move for him. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Rumble Johnson. If he came back, heavyweight would be the place for him. So I like that. But when you go out there, especially the way that he lost to Anthony Smith, and then you take all that time off, yeah. I don't love that for him. I don't love it for him. Now he's going up against a guy who, has definitely been around for a while. Is somebody who we've heard the name Fabricio Verdum forever. It feels like he's another one of those guys. He's in his early 40s, I'm sure. And he's a guy, though, who's also coming off a few losses.
No, I think Verdum is coming off a win. I think
he lost at was it 249, 250, 249?
Who was he going against?
That's when he fought Olenek.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got that one right. Yep. Yeah,
he fought Olenek, got him in that little choke or whatever in Jacksonville.
That was his first fight back after a long layoff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about. So I'm thinking, for Fabricio Verdum, always been a guy that brought the fight to the table, and in that fight, I looked at him and he looked fat, man. I mean, his waistline was, his cardio was definitely not there, and he had great moments in that fight as well. That's what I remember about that fight. So I'm thinking Fabricio Verdum is going to definitely come to this fight a whole lot in a whole lot better shape than he was in that fight. I think Gustafsson got a whole lot to prove in this fight. If he can't go out and get past a guy like Fabricio, let's just say it might be time to wrap it up if you can't get back past Fabricio Verdum, and vice versa. Verdum got a whole lot on the table as well in a fight like this, because one loss, either way, with guys like this at this stage of their careers, you got to wonder where they go. But the one thing I think helps them as well is it's not a whole lot of heavyweights in the UFC, that you can bank on and put the marquee on.
Yeah, I mean, you have one who's about to retire and Daniel Cormier next month. Stipe probably not too far behind him. If Stipe gets out of that with a win, I mean, I don't know. That might be a double retirement scenario, because if I'm Stipe,
and then you got John Jones, and thinking about moving up, and then you find a guy like Rumble Johnson that you can throw in there, but it's not a whole lot of name guys in the heavyweight division that you can bank on. That's why I say all of these their jobs might be a little bit more secure than one would think.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it is interesting to see what will happen in the heavyweight division going forward. And really, the middleweight division is very interesting to me too, Book. I mean, that's where we're going to see the main event. It's Darren Till, who's moved up to middleweight now. Looks like he's maybe found his footing at that weight division. He was one of the guys we were just talking about. He beat Kevin Gastelum. He's got a fight with Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker, a guy who was on a 10-fight win streak up until he met Israel Adesanya. Yeah. So super credible guy. I like this fight. Don't you think that Whitaker should be the favorite here, or what do you think?
I would think so, man. Whitaker, this is a guy that's gone out and fought, through injury and still, came out the victor. This is a guy that's got a lot of heart, man. I mean, can't throw one loss on this guy and say, one bad loss and say, well, it's over with for him. I think a guy like Whitaker, man, he got the heart to actually still make a run at it. He's not at that point to where I think he's, tipping over or anything. I think he's still hungry and he still wants to get back to that spot. And I'm going to tell you, man, one thing about that New Zealander, man, he is tough, man. He is tough as nail. The thing is, he doesn't look as tough as he really is, on the outside, him walking to the cage. But when that guy get inside that octagon, you say, wow, man, this guy is tough as nails. I think Whitaker, he should be the favorite in that fight. Darren Till, I think, for me, Darren Till, he's still got a lot to prove. Getting the win over Calvin Gastelum, that's one thing. But I think Darren Till, not saying that he's not going to be a great fighter or anything like that, but I remember this one guy, he was talking about this rider, and he was saying, man, he was going to be a great rider one day, but he just had to feel a little bit more. He just had to feel a little bit more. And he said, what does that mean? And I think that's what Darren Till is as far as his career. I mean, what does that mean? This guy has the potential to be great. He really does. But it's just one of those things. He's going to have to find himself, and who knows? Like you say, this could be that division for Darren Till. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 170 wasn't that wasn't where he needed to be. And we saw it with the Woodley fight. Obviously, he wasn't going to be a world champion, in my opinion, at 170. There's so many guys in that division. At 180 pounds, the middleweight, Izzy obviously at the top of that division right now. You have Paulo Costa, you have Yoel Romero, and then it kind of gets a little thinner after that, in my opinion. Kevin Gastelum was a guy who could compete at that level for a little while. You have Hermanson, and then with Whitaker and Till. My point is, Till could find himself within a couple wins of a world title fight. I really believe that. He's a guy, like you always say, he's got a whole country behind him. Izzy's got a whole country behind him.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view, brother.
No, I think it's a no-brainer. But
he's got to get there. He's got to get past Whitaker.
You say he has to go out and perform. And I really think, and the thing, I've been critical of Darren Till. I wouldn't say critical, but I just say, man, I just didn't think he was ready when they threw him in there with Woodley. It would have been great for him if he would have won, of course. Yeah. But I just didn't think that fight did anything for him if he lost. I don't think anybody was thinking about the big picture or anything like that. But when I watch this guy train, when I watch him, in the gym on YouTube, I say, man, this guy, he is the Gorilla Till. I'm serious. You could tell he's strong. You could tell he doesn't mind getting into a fight. No matter whether it's in the octagon or in a bar. That's what it seemed like with this guy. And I really think Darren Till, and people go, man, well, Book was just saying something totally different a year ago. That's because I look at fighters, they're again like racehorses. They have to grow into, becoming great. I watch, young fighters, today, and I go, man, this kid's good, but he's nowhere near great yet, So it's one of those things, and I think that's what Darren Till has. He's needed time to grow a little bit in the UFC and figure this thing out, and I think the kid has potential to be, one of the great ones. So I just want to see how this thing play out.
Yeah, and also what a difference. Not only, I know you said you were talking about him differently a year ago. What a difference a weight class change can make. You know what I mean? When somebody finds that weight that's comfortable for them, how dominant they can actually be in that weight. And the thing is, just because you're good at 145 doesn't mean you'll be good at 155. Ask Max Holloway. Just because you're good at one weight doesn't mean you're going to be able to translate that over. But for Till, it's definitely worked.
Yeah. Someone like Dustin Poirier, you know what I mean? That's just the way the fight game is, man. And we've talked about it many, many times as far as the weight cut and how hard it is, for guys to actually go out there and make weight. That's why you see so many guys come in overweight, just because it is a science. And a lot of times, man, that science becomes life-threatening if you don't do it properly, So I tell you, man, finding that spot to where you feel comfortable, where you don't have to lose weight and you can eat as much as you want. You know what I mean? Because I love, ice cream sandwiches, it's hard for me not to eat one or two of them before I go to bed, you know. So, but fighters can't do that if they're not at the right weight, you know. So, I always think about that, guys. You're always thinking about the weight. Hey, guys, stick around. We still got a little bit more UFC Fight Night to cover. We'll be back in a momento. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Talking about a little UFC Fight Night going down this weekend, man. ESPN Plus. If you don't have it, guys, you better get it. You know what I mean? Because we right here on the station, we get it for free. You know, I'm just playing.
Right. No, we got to pay for everything.
I'm serious. I'm borrowing Brad's link.
Hey, I know we're talking about Fight Night. Did you? Oh, I guess we need to talk about the Shogun versus Nogueira. I know we touched on it a little bit, but who do you see walking out of that as the winner?
Which one? Nogueira?
Yeah.
Oh man, you know, I see Shogun winning that fight. Just because, you know, there again, Nogueira, he's a guy that's been around a long time. Nogueira is a guy that literally, he should have been retired from the sport by now. But Nogueira is, like you said earlier, he's a lifer. He's one of those guys that's just going to, you know, ride or die on his sword. That's just the way it is with some of these guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't, you know, I'm not going to sit here and judge him or anything like that, man, because you got one life to live and you best do it your way. And that's the best advice I can give you on that right there. You do not want to, you know, walk through this life, you know, doing it somebody else's way. That's just not a way you want to go out, I think. And a guy like Nogueira, I've seen this guy, you know, I've seen this guy fight Frank Mir. And Frank Mir got in an armbar and he breaks his arm and he doesn't even say, ow. I'm telling you, that right there is crazy, man. I sit there and I watched it, and you could see his arm, you know, totally going the wrong direction. And the thing is, he didn't even flinch. His face didn't even grimace. And he broke his arm, literally broke it, pop, just like that. You can go back and watch it, pop. And he did not even flinch. It almost, he looked at it and went, oh, I just broke my arm. It was just one of the scariest things I'd ever seen in my life. It was almost like when Mick Foley got his ear tore off in Germany by Big Van Vader. And, you know, the guy comes back in the back after the match is over when he got Mick Foley's ear in his hand. This guy named Gary Capetta, and he said, I think I have Mick Foley's ear in my hand. And Mick Foley's sitting there, and Mick Foley looks at Capetta and goes, bang, bang. I go, wow. You know, that's what Nogueira is. He's like Mick Foley. You know, a guy get his ear ripped off and he doesn't even, he's still got to stay in character. He still got to just.
Did you see that fight last weekend, the Ariana Lipski fight versus, I think her name is something Carolina. I can't remember her name. Did you see that fight? It was early. Yeah, it was early in the prelims.
Missed that one.
Now, or it may have been the first fight on the main card. I can't remember. But she had her in this knee bar, and she came all the way back.
Oh, God, man, I did see that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
And you saw the pain on Carolina's face. Luana Carolina, that's her name. Luana Carolina's face.
So loud. You know, it was a grimacing scream. I mean, it was cringing. And I was like, oh, my God. And the thing is, I don't know why she didn't tap her. I don't know what she was thinking, because you saw that was not going to be good. One would think one would have more strength in the legs than, you know, one upper body, but man, that was one of the nastiest knee bars I ever seen in my life. And I'm sure she was had damage from it because she couldn't even stand up when they did the call as far as who won the match or anything like that. She sat on the stool and you could see the pain on her face, So I tell you, man.
I wonder how that makes you feel as a fighter. Because Ariana Lipski, her nickname's a queen of violence, and that was a violent finish in many ways. But you don't ever want to. Your job's to hurt somebody, but you don't want to hurt them. Well, you don't want to put them out of commission.
Well, she looked pretty happy.
She looked ecstatic.
No, I'm serious. She looked pretty happy about what was going on there.
She knew she was going to get a $50,000 bonus for that.
Dancing and going on. I was like, man, she seemed to be pretty okay with the knee bar. I mean, as bad as it was, but I don't know, man. That's the fight game. You see a lot of fighters after the fight, after they go out there and knock out someone viciously, break down and cry, just because, it's not something that they really want to do, but it's just it's the warrior mentality, the warrior code. Right now, I'm playing this video game on PS4 called Ghost of Tsushima. And it's so real to life, man. You might have to get it. Talks about honor after you take your opponent out and whatnot. You bow to them, it's all about honor. And when I see these fighters go out there and do what they do, it's all about honor at the end of the day. Most of the time, you see these guys, going to a fight. There's a whole lot of trash talk, leading up to the fight, and then after the fight, all of that normally melts away, and they hug and whatnot. Like, so
Masvidal and Usman.
Yeah. It didn't happen with Conor and Khabib though, but that's another story. Yeah, but normally, man, it's about honor and the honor code going out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw that with Figueiredo and Benavidez. Figueiredo went over there and bowed to him and wanted to check on him, make sure he was good to go, and then we move forward from there. So, but again, that Ariana Lipski finish was crazy. But I said that to say how tough getting your arm broken and not even making a face would be. I mean, when you saw that knee bar, when a fighter registers something, typically it hurts.
Yeah.
Broken arm, all good. We're gonna keep it moving.
No, that's just Nogueira, I think, man. I don't think any other fighter that would have been in that position.
Would have said, "Ow."
That Frank Mir had Nogueira, and they would have tapped. They would have tapped, and the guy at least, he wouldn't have had his arm broken or anything like that. But when I saw Nogueira, and saw that happen, that's one of the ways I try to teach my wrestlers. I always tell a lot of my students that story about Nogueira. So when they go out there and perform, they got to know, man, you got to man up at certain times. You got to, that certain things can't hurt. You might feel it. It's just like getting hit in the jaw. When you're a fighter, a lot of fighters get hit with a right hand, boom, and they don't even flinch. A lot of them, beg them on, come on, give me more, So it's almost the bravado comes along with it, and then you see that same guy who was saying, come on, he get hit with another shot, boom, and he go to sleep. No, that's the fight game. That's the realism of, being able to go out and, bring every element into the game, man. It happens in, all forms.
Yeah, absolutely. So who you got in that fight again? Who you picking?
Which one?
In the Shogun Nogueira.
Oh, man, I'm gonna go Shogun. Okay.
And then main event, you have Till or Whitaker. I'm thinking Whitaker.
You know what, man? I know I should say Whitaker, but I'm gonna go with Till. I'm gonna go with Till just because Till doesn't mind initiating the fight.
Right.
Till is not gonna be the guy that's coming in as dodging and running away and trying to evade contact or anything like that. So that's why I'm gonna go with Till in this fight. Plus, Darren Till, man, he knows. Darren Till knows he has to go out and win this fight if he wants to be great for his country. If he want to be anything, someone like a Conor McGregor, he's going to have to go out and win this fight. To keep that crowd support, to keep that crowd enthusiasm, to keep everything going in the right direction. Darren Till has to go out and win this fight. He doesn't have to win it by knockout, by tap out, or anything like that. He just has to win this fight. And if he thinks that way, Darren Till has a huge chance to go out and become the victor in this fight.
Well, we'll see. You know what? All three of these fights on the main card that we've talked about, it's hard to call any of them for me. For all of them, to me, are real one way or another. Even Fabricio and Gustafsson, I'm not sure. Shogun, Nogueira, I'm not sure. Till Whitaker, I'm not sure. But we'll see. I think it's going to be a really – I will say this. Every UFC card I've watched, all of them have been good. There hasn't been a bad card in quite a while since they came back with the Jacksonville 249. They've been off to the races. 251 was great. I mean, they've all been great. 250. So yeah. I think that we're in for another good night of fights.
Yeah, it's going to be a treat, especially this weekend. What do we got to do? Sit down and watch some UFC, man. Hopefully get me around the golf field. I heard a storm coming this way, but hopefully it'll blow over or whatever, man, because I got to get my golf in. But guys, right now, we still got a little bit more for you. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.